Deep in the heart of Asia at Disney's Animal Kingdom, you'll find an animal trail where dragons roam, bats fly, and where tigers roar. In what used to be a private animal reserve for the Maharaja, guests can now roam these trails on foot and marvel at some of Asia's most exotic creatures. This is the Maharajah Jungle Trek at Disney's Animal Kingdom. This animal trail is located at the very back of Asia, and it's just a few steps away from the exit of the Kali River Rapids attraction. You'll also notice at the front entrance to the trail an ample amount of stroller parking. But I will say that maneuvering a stroller or even a wheelchair through this trail is relatively easy, because the paths are nice and wide and relatively smooth. Walking through the trail will take about 20 minutes, and for you little wilderness explorers, make sure you bring your field guides with you, because you can earn at least 2 badges here. And everyone should make sure to pick up an animal guide right at the beginning of the trek. That way you can keep track of what animals are up ahead on the trail. So join me now on this guided tour of the Maharajah Jungle Trek. At the very first stop on the trail, we encounter a very misunderstood, yet deadly creature that is one of the largest lizards on the planet. The Komodo dragon is part of the monitor lizard family, found mostly in Indonesia. This guy's only a couple of feet long, but some male Komodos can grow up to be 10 feet long and weigh between 200 and 300 pounds. These ancient reptiles have lived on this earth for millions of years, but there is still debate as to whether these vicious reptiles are venomous or not. Some scientists believe the reptiles produce venom when attacking their prey. Others believe that the immense amount of bacteria on their teeth is what is truly lethal, but there is no doubt that they are incredibly powerful creatures. That tail there is almost as long as his body, and a Komodo dragon can use that tail to support itself when standing on its hind legs to capture out-of-reach prey. They also use their forked tongue to smell and taste food, sometimes several miles away, and Komodos are known to eat large animals as big as a water buffalo in just a few gulps. But these Komodo dragons give me the creeps, so let's keep traveling down the path to find some more friendly animals like the lion-tailed macaque, who are not as dangerous but just as territorial. These little guys can be found deep in the rainforest of southern India. Unlike the Komodo dragon, these primates eat mostly fruit. In fact, they have pouches in their cheeks that allows them to quickly gather up and store food. Sometimes these pouches can stretch out to be as big as their stomachs. Now they tend to live in packs of 20 or so. There's usually only 1 or 2 males in the group, and there are several females with their young. But they like to spend most of their time high up in the trees. They get their name because of the tuft at the end of their long skinny tail, which looks similar to a lion's tail. They are usually pretty small creatures, measuring just 2 feet long and weighing only about 20 to 25 pounds. They also have a distinct silvery mane that frames their face and protects them from the heavy rains of the rainforest habitat that they live in. It looks like this male here has noticed a bit of an argument happening between 2 females up in the trees. He's going in to get a better look at what's going on. As you can see, macaques can be very territorial even within the family, but he clearly doesn't want to get involved. She has given up, and she'll go find her own branch to sit on instead. this monkey may have won the fight today, but there's always tomorrow for round 2. Now just across the way, we're in for something a little bit more creepy. Now they may look scary, but don't worry, they are just fruit bats. Their official name is the Malayan flying fox. They are some of the largest megabats of the Old World and can have a wingspan as big as 5 feet. These guys are normally found in tropical forests and eat fruits ranging from mangoes, bananas, grapes, and of course their favorite, watermelons. Unlike most bats, flying foxes have pretty good vision, and they use their eyesight when flying as opposed to echolocation. They also don't hibernate in dark caves. In fact, they easily hang upside down and live in fruit trees thanks to their long curved claws, which clearly can come in handy when reaching for food like this guy is doing. These bats are also a bit more colorful. The fur on their bodies is mostly black, but around their neck there is a bit of fur which turns a golden brown color, primarily during mating season. The males generally have thicker fur, and they also have a neck tuft, which the females lack. But both genders will have black coats down their backs, speckled with bits of white hair. Now during the day, these bats can congregate in thousands, and they play a vital role in a much larger picture. Because they exclusively eat fruit, they act as important pollinators in the forest, dispersing seeds across the landscape, which helps the trees to continue to grow. So while they may look like enemies ready to suck your blood, they actually help produce some of your favorite delicious fruit, and help their ecosystem stay alive as well. Now let's move on to the main highlight of the animal trail here in Asia and take a look at the most majestic cats in the rainforest. Deep in the temple ruins, you'll find the Sumatran tiger. The presence of this particular species here at Animal Kingdom is truly special because the Sumatran tigers are the most critically endangered tigers in the world. Scientists believe that there are only about 400 of these tigers left in the wild. And they live in one of Indonesia's largest island, Sumatra, which is located just a few miles southwest of Singapore. Now their numbers are so small because of the increasing amounts of dense forest regions being dismantled. Sprawling urban areas throughout Asia are taking over the places that these tigers call home. Losing these forest regions means that there's less prey for the tigers to hunt. And more than ever before, humans are living closer to wild animals, bringing new challenges to the survival of these beautiful creatures. So let's travel further into the temple ruins to get a better look. Now, male Sumatran tigers such as this one can grow to be up to 11 feet long and weigh in at 300 pounds. This specific species is actually the smallest cat in the tiger family, but don't be fooled. These incredible beasts are fierce hunters. Their fur color is darker than most tigers, and they have more stripes down their bodies, making it easier to hide behind tall blades of grass, especially while hunting for prey such as deers and wild pigs. Tigers like to hunt solo, and hunting takes place at early dawn or at dusk. At night, these creatures can see up to 6 times more than we humans can in the dark, and thanks to their agile bodies, they can reach speeds of up to 35 miles per hour, easily outrunning their prey just before jumping in for an attack. Now back in August of 2017, a special delivery arrived at Animal Kingdom. A female tiger named Sony gave birth to a pair of healthy tiger cubs. Tigers can mate at almost any time of year, and the pregnancy is short, just over 3 months. And while the cubs are nearly a year old, they're almost fully grown. This here is the male cub Jeddah, which means pause in Malay and reflects his more laid-back attitude. And way in the back, you'll see his sister, Anala, who has much more energy, hence her name, which means fiery in Hindi. In the wild, mom would be the hunter for the family. Male tigers don't get involved in the upbringing of their cubs whatsoever. In the first few months, the cubs will live off of mom's milk, but after several weeks, they will leave their den and start learning how to hunt by watching mom. At about 18 months, the cubs will start making their own kills, but they'll still live with their mother until they're about 2 or 3 years old. But today, it looks like mom here is just taking a midday nap. Whoa, looks like she's just checking up on the cubs. Once the cubs turn 3 years old, they will leave the den and start families of their own. Both female and male tigers will live predominantly on their own, especially since both genders are self-sufficient when it comes to hunting. A male and female tiger will only come together when it's time to mate. So one day, Anala here will raise cubs of her own, and the family cycle will continue. But Sony here still has several months left to enjoy family time with her cubs. Sadly, we have to say goodbye to the tigers and travel on, past the temple ruins where we now come upon a series of wild bovid, which arrived here just a couple of years ago. Wild water buffalo are an endangered species native to the Indian subcontinent. There are only 3 here, but these creatures are known to live in clans of 30 or so. These gentle giants are grazers and spend most of the day just eating grass or calmly resting near large pools of water. Both the males and females sport these beautiful horns at the top of their heads, which can grow up to 2 meters wide. Now, unlike the water buffalo, only male ELD'S have antlers, while the females do not, but both genders are just as regal. The female deers can grow to be about 40 to 50 inches long, just a bit smaller than their male counterparts. They'll weigh about 200 pounds, while the males can go up to 300. And these animals like to eat grass, but only the best. They are known to graze in grass areas that seasonally burn, so that they can come in when the grass is fresh and new. This young lady is just doing her morning stretches in the sun. And in the same grassy area, there's a colorful peacock, which is actually a preview of what's ahead on the trail's grand finale. Before entering the Royal Aviary, we travel through the last bit of temple ruins, and you can get another look of our friendly tigers. But let's move forward and marvel at some colorful birds that once again play an important role in the balance of their ecosystem. This aviary used to be a private sanctuary for the royal family, but now anyone can come in and enjoy this wonderful collection of colorful birds. And there are still a few beautiful birdhouses and fountains to enjoy, like this guy is doing. This is known as an emerald dove. These feathered friends can be found in tropical rainforest all over the Indian subcontinent and as far as Japan. The males can be identified by that small patch of light gray feathers just around his shoulder. Emerald doves are also known to be excellent weavers. They can build tightly spun stick nests high up in the trees, sometimes even 5 meters high, to make sure that their eggs are well protected. They also tend to fly low and fast, so the next time you visit this animal trail, you'll probably be surrounded by dozens of these guys zipping by your head. Now, this guy may not look as pretty as the others, and in fact some might even mistake him to be a colorless peacock, but in fact this is a pheasant. A great Argus pheasant, found mainly in the islands of Southeast Asia. The males are among the largest pheasants in the world. Their tails can stretch out to be as long as 55 inches. And while his body may seem ordinary with its dusty brown feathers, like the peacocks, they can spread their feathers to reveal a beautifully ornate spread, especially designed to attract some females during mating season. And finally, down below, we have a masked lapwing, which gets its name because of that distinct yellow wattle just below its beak. Now, these delicate creatures are mostly found in Australia and New Zealand, and unlike most birds, they spend most of their time on the ground. In fact, they like to spend their time near large wetlands or other moist environments like beaches and coastlines. Now, birds like this one and the rest of the animals populating the aviary play an important role here in the Royal Forest. Their existence helps keep the landscape healthy by acting as natural pest control, especially by eating harmful insects. They also serve as pollinators by spreading seeds while flying through the trees. They bring an important balance to the ecosystem so that other animals can eat or even shelter themselves in the healthy rainforest. And that, my friends, brings us to the end of our tour of the Maharajah Jungle Trek here in Asia at Disney's Animal Kingdom. But don't worry, there are still plenty of animals to enjoy. If you want to see more friendly creatures in this specific section of the park, you can't miss the fantastic temple right in the middle of town that's populated by a wonderful family of gibbons. I can spend all day just watching these guys. And make sure you check out my tour of another animal trail here at the park, the Gorilla Falls Exploration Trail, located in Africa. Just click the icon on the top right corner of the screen now. You'll get a rare up-close glimpse at some beautiful creatures such as the famous silverback gorilla. But that's all for today. Thank you so much for joining me, and remember, if you can dream it, you can do it.